Welcome, foolish mortals,
Welcome, foolish Muppets.
to this week's project, the Lighted Up Haunted Mansion sign. My name is Kristen and I'm the artist behind Wicked Wreaths. I'm slightly obsessed with the Haunted Mansion. So of course I had to have my own Haunted Mansion wreath. This project is pretty easy to do. You can take the application of it and use it in so many different ways,
like I did in these projects,
in your homemade holiday decor. I do use a Cricut machine in this project, so there'll be lots of tips and tricks for that as well. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to join my coven over on Patreon. And without further ado, let's get started.
So the first thing that you're gonna need is a frame. I used my 3D printer to print this because I wanted it to be a certain size, but you can easily use any kind of frame. To create the glass for the frame, I used a thin piece of plexiglass. Then I marked out where I want to cut the plexiglass, and I want it to overlap about a ½ inch. Using a pair of scissors to cut it out because it's thin enough, otherwise use a razor blade, which gives me the perfect shape for the glass for the frame. Then I used a thick piece of EVA foam for the gasket. You need the gasket to be tall enough, about ½ inch, to give room for the lights and the gift paper, creating this perfect black flexible oval. Now take your plexiglass and trace it onto correlated board so you get the same size. And now you have all the pieces to put it together. The order will go correlated board, gasket, plexiglass, and then frame. Start by gluing the plexiglass to the frame, then glue the gasket to the plexiglass. Now to glue the fairy lights to the board. I use the type of fairy lights that have a wire and just hot glued in between the lights. I like to evenly space the lights as much as possible and just keep repeating this step until either you run out of lights or you like what you have. So much purple. Now I take a purple plastic gift wrap paper and I scrunch it up and put it in between the lights and the frame. This gives it a really cool effect where you don't really see the lights as much, but they glow enough to give like an ambiance of all purple. And finally, glue it in place. Muh-ha-ha-ha. Now that we have our lighted sign, we can move on to making the Cricut sticker. I used my favorite Cricut paper, smart vinyl, black frosted glitter, and then had the machine do all of my cutting. The Cricut machine has really changed my life as a crafter, and I would highly recommend it. And I promise this is not sponsored. And I absolutely love weeding the decal. It is so satisfying. Pro tip 1, keep the scrap to wipe all of your excess pieces into. Pro tip 2, cut the sticker backing to make sure it fits where you want it to go. Pro tip number 3, I like to use Scotch heavy duty shipping tape as my transfer tape and put it on my hand a few times to make it not as sticky. To me, I came up with this method because the transfer tape that comes with it can be too strong and hard to work with. Pro tip 4, I think we're on. What you do is you take the decal, fold it in half, but only put creases in the edges where the tape is, not in the sticker. This will give you a good baseline for your center, which makes it so much easier to line up wherever you would like the center of it to be. I like to roll the sticker off into the tape very, very slowly so not to rip the vinyl. And then I line up the crease in the tape with the center of the frame. Then I slowly push the vinyl down on the plexiglass and pull off the tape. Now it's all finished. I hope this tutorial can help your happy haunt. And as always, a big thank you to my Patreon coven. With the newest and only wizard of the coven, Kelsey Lexo. Thank you so much for your support. I will be doing an exclusive giveaway just for my Patreon. Go check out the details over there. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next time.